Fratres, alumni, friends, and brothers of Tau Kappa Epsilon, thank you for the opportunity to stand before you today. It's always meaningful when teaks gather, because when we do, we're not simply filling a room, we are renewing a bond. We're connecting generations. We are reminding ourselves that this fraternity is not merely something we joined in college. It is something that continues to shape who we are, how we lead, and how we serve. I also want to take a moment to recognize several of my college friends you might have noticed showed up tonight. More than 40 years ago, we served together in this fraternity learning what it meant to lead, to be accountable, to challenge one another, and to stand shoulder to shoulder through the formative years of our lives. Those experiences and those friendships were instrumental in my growth as a leader. They helped shape the way I view responsibility, service, loyalty, and the power of surrounding yourself with men who expect more from you because they believe more is possible in you. To have them here tonight is deeply meaningful because they are a part of my teak story and part of the life journey that brought me to this moment. I also want to express my sincere gratitude to the past Grand Prytanis Foundation board members, teak volunteers, and professional staff who have given so much of themselves to this fraternity. You are the men and women who live our values every day, not only in formal meetings or public moments, but in the quiet, consistent work of mentoring, advising, encouraging, supporting, and serving. You share the stories that keep our history alive. You remind us what love, charity, and esteem look like in practice. And you hold us accountable to the standards we claim to believe in. Because of your dedication, Tau Kappa Epsilon is more than an organization. It is a living bond carried forward by people who care deeply about its purpose and its future. And to my wife, Kim, my partner and teammate for almost 40 years, thank you. I, like Mike, first met you at a teak event, and from that moment forward, you have been one of the greatest blessings of my life. And you've helped shape me as a husband, a father, and a citizen, and your love, patience, strength, and example have made me a better in every role I have been called to serve. Thank you. That was the hard part. Hey, our theme is simple but powerful. Elevate the legacy. Those three words ask something of us. They ask us not only to honor what came before, but to raise it higher. They ask us not only to preserve the name of Tau Kappa Epsilon, but to expand its meaning. They ask us not only to remember our history, but to become worthy of it. Now, legacy can be a comfortable word. It can make us think of old photos, composite pictures, chapter houses, pledge classes, awards, songs, rituals, and stories told long after the details have blurred. But legacy is not just what we inherit. Legacy is what we improve before we hand it over to the next man. It is not a museum piece. It is a living responsibility. And today, we gather at a remarkable moment in history. America has reached its 250th birthday, a semi-quincentennial milestone that invites us to pause, reflect, and look ahead. 250 years ago, a group of imperfect but courageous people put their names to an idea that a nation could be built on liberty, responsibility, sacrifice, and the belief that ordinary citizens could shape an extraordinary future. The official America 250 effort frames this anniversary as a time to reflect on our nation's past, honor the contributions of Americans, and look toward the future we want to create for the next generation. That language should resonate with every teak in this room. Reflect on the past, honor those who contributed, build for the next generation. That is not only an American calling, it is a fraternity calling. It is our calling. And when Tau Kappa Epsilon was founded in 1899, it was founded on an idea that was ahead of its time, that men should be judged not by wealth, rank, or title, but by personal worth and character. Our mission, to aid men in their mental, moral, and social development for life, still matters, because character still matters. Leadership still matters. Brotherhood still matters. Service still matters. In a world that often measures men by status, attention, money, and appearance, teak still calls us to measure men by something deeper. That is why Elevate the Legacy cannot be a slogan we print on a banner and then forget. It has to become a standard. It has to become a decision. It has to become a test we apply to ourselves. Did we leave this chapter stronger than we found it? Did we bring another man into the bond? Did we bring another man into the bond that will strengthen it after us? Did we mentor someone who needed direction? Did we serve someone who could never repay us? Did we represent the letters on our chest with integrity when nobody else was watching? America's 250th birthday gives us a broad backdrop, but another date gives us a deeper reminder. September 11th. For many of us, 9/11 is not history, it is a memory. We remember where we were. We remember the shock, the fear, the silence, the flags, the phone calls, the first responders running to the sounds of danger. And in the ordinary people who became symbols of courage because duty called and they answered. For younger brothers, 9/11 may be something learned from parents, teachers, videos, and memorials. But whether we lived it or learned it, the lesson is the same. It is built as a legacy by service. September 11th is now recognized as a National Day of Service and Remembrance. That matters. Our country decided that the answer to tragedy would not only be grief, it would be service. We would remember the nearly 3,000 lives lost not by standing still, but by doing good. We would honor sacrifice by becoming more sacrificial. We would answer darkness with light, division with unity, and loss with renewed purpose. That spirit is deeply fraternal. Brotherhood is not passive. Brotherhood is active. It is not simply the man beside you at a banquet. It is the man who shows up when life gets hard. It is the alumni who return to guide a chapter through a difficult season. It's the undergraduate who checks on a brother who's gone quiet. It is the chapter that chooses service over self-interest. It is the fraternity that understands that our letters mean nothing if they are not lived. So, if we are serious about elevating the legacy, we must begin with ourselves. We must recommit or commit to becoming better men. Not someday, not when convenient, not only when someone is watching, but now. Better men in our chapters, better men in our classrooms, better men in our workplaces, better men in our families, better men in our communities, better men for a better world. But personal improvement alone is not enough. If we want the legacy to rise, we must grow our base. We need more good men in the bond. We need more alumni engaged. We need stronger chapters, deeper mentoring, broader service, and a renewed willingness to tell our story with confidence. Growth is not about chasing numbers for the sake of numbers. Growth is about multiplying impact. Every new member with character is a future leader, a future mentor, a future donor, a future volunteer, a future father, a future community servant, a future alumnus who can keep that flame burning. Every alumnus who re-engages becomes a bridge between what was and what can be. Every chapter that grows the right way becomes a stronger force on its campus and in its community. We should never apologize for wanting Tau Kappa Epsilon to reach farther. Our fraternity exists to develop men for life. If we believe that mission is good, then we should want more men to experience it. If we believe our values are needed, then we should want those values carried into more campuses, more families, more workplaces, more communities. If we believe TEAC changes lives, then growth is not vanity, growth is stewardship. But let me be clear, growth without standards is not elevation. Growth without character is not legacy. Growth without brotherhood is not success. We do not need just more names on a roster. We need more men of personal worth and character. We need men who understand that fraternity is not a transaction, it is a transformation. We need men who will come to TEAC not only asking, what can I get, but also, what can I give? That means collegiate members have a responsibility. You are the front door of the fraternity. The men you recruit will shape the culture you live in. Do not lower the bar to fill a room. Raise the bar so right men want to enter. Invite men who make the chapter better. Invite men who make you better. Invite men who can be trusted with the letters after the party's over, after the meeting ends, and after the applaud fades. And alumni have a responsibility too. Our role is not to sit in the balcony and critique the show. Our role is to invest, guide, encourage, and challenge. The young men in our chapters do not need alumni who only say, "Back in my day." They need alumni who say, "I am here today." They need our experience, our networks, our perspective, our financial support, our mentoring, our patience, and sometimes our hard-earned honesty. If we want to elevate the legacy, every alumnus should ask, who am I mentoring? What chapter am I helping? What young man has access to my experience? What door can I open? What example am I setting? The fraternity for life requires lifelong fraternity. We must also recognize the importance of working more intentionally with the Teak Foundation. The fraternity and foundation are strongest when they operate as an aligned partners. One advancing the mission, and the other helping provide the resources to bring that mission to life. That partnership creates real synergy. Scholarships, leadership development, chapter support, and alumni engagement. Imagine what could happen if we matched the moment. Imagine every chapter treating America's 250th year as a call to visible service. Imagine every chapter organizing a 9/11 Day of Service project that brings together collegiate members, alumni families, communities. Imagine every alumni association identifying 10 young men to mentor this year. That's how you elevate a legacy. Not through nostalgia alone, but through action. Not through speeches alone, but through service. Not through pride alone, but through progress. The next 250 years of America will be shaped by the citizens we form today. The next 125 years of Teak will be shaped by the brothers we develop today. The next generation will not ask whether we love the legacy, they will ask whether we lifted it. So let this be our charge. To the collegiate men, recruit with purpose, lead with character, and serve with humility. Make your chapter a place where good men become great men. To the alumni, come back, step up, mentor, invest, and remind our younger brothers that they are part of something larger than themselves. To all of us, live, love, charity, and esteem so clearly that no one has to ask what Tau Kappa Epsilon stands for. Fratres, America's 250th birthday reminds us that great legacies are never guaranteed. September 11th reminds us that service is the truest form of remembrance. Tau Kappa Epsilon reminds us that brotherhood is a lifelong commitment to personal worth, character, and the development of men. We inherited a great fraternity. Now we must make it greater. We received a proud legacy. Now we must elevate it. We were given the bond. Now we must grow it, strengthen it, and pass it forward with honor. Let us leave this room resolved not merely to celebrate Tau Kappa Epsilon, but to build it. Not merely to remember our founders, but to make them proud. Not merely to wear the letters, but to live them. Elevate the legacy, grow the bond, serve the world, and be the man this moment requires. Thank you, Fratres. I remain yours in the bond.